Entertainment news today. You're such a dragon gay. Everything sucks and it's no good. That comes out of Hollywood. But there's one place you can go to get all your news and info, and maybe even have a laugh or two. You know it's true. Midnight's Edge after dark is life. We stand for nerds and geeks, we will survive. From Star Wars to Jurassic Park, it's Midnight's Edge after dark. All those bombs and flops, but need never stops. We will keep going through the night as we keep up the culture fight. Midnight's Edge after dark is life. We stand for nerds and geeks, we will survive. From Star Wars to Jurassic Park, it's Midnight's Edge after dark.
Greetings and welcome everybody to the program. We got almost a full panel here tonight. Look at this. Look at this. We got 6 people on the panel and we have 6.
Yes,
How you doing?
we do. Hello, good evening.
It's a magic number. Actually, that's supposed to be 3, but tonight 6 is the magic number. That is a very magic number in most places.
69 dudes.
Excellent. We also have Professor R2 here to give us a lesson or two. How you doing?
Doing well, thank you.
No need to swear about it.
Hey.
I mean, it's kind of rude.
I'm good. Glad to be here.
Good evening. Glad to have you. We also have coming in from Canada, Mr. Canada himself, CC Karaoke.
Excellent. Glad to be here.
How you doing?
I take a couple of lazy days after a few grindy months.
That sounds exhilarating.
Doing absolutely nothing. It's nice. I hardly
the Canadian way.
Actually get myself to stop. Sometimes I have to tell myself to do that. It's nice once in a very long while. So that's what I'm up to. Absolutely nothing.
Well, we're glad that you came here since you weren't doing anything. We also have Nick Weiser here. How you doing?
Oh, hey, I'm happy to be here, and we have a nice, huge panel, and somewhat of a slow news day, but not as slow as Tuesday. But thanks for having me, Tom, and hello to our panel.
And he's doing his best Price of Reason impression, and of course we have Price of Reason with us. How you doing, Price?
I'm doing great, Tom. I'm firing up the stove, throwing on a pot of beefaroni for the entire family.
Beefaroni?
Beefaroni for the...
My kids love beefaroni. That's why we eat that at the Nick Weiser residence all the time.
It sounds like if Nick was like David Spade and what's that movie, Joe Dirt.
I like Van Halen, not Van Hagar.
Oh, that's good.
How you doing, Price?
I'm doing okay. I've actually, it's been a strange day for me because I foolishly locked myself out of my Twitter account. And apparently once you do that, it starts becoming this whole bureaucracy. And I don't know how long this is going to be in limbo now.
Yeah, that happened to me just a couple weeks ago. And Jesus criminy, what a pain in the ass to get back in.
How long did it take until you were able to get back in?
It was 2 or 3 days that I was locked out
Oh,
because I kept trying to log in, and it said you tried to log in too many times. And so I finally just had to stop trying and file a report with them. And then finally, after maybe 12 hours or 15 hours of ignoring the account, not trying anymore, I finally was able to get in. And then a day later, the complaint ticket that I opened responded to me.
I see.
I mean, that's just kind of the mantra of my life. Just stop trying.
Yeah, you just have to give up.
Just give up. Stop trying.
That's what I'm going to do. That's why I opened a separate
No.
Twitter account now, and I'm going to use this one until they give me back the other one.
I think I locked myself out a while ago, and I had to like send them in my like ID and shit, like through a
Blood
picture.
sample. Yeah.
I'd
Blood
be
sample.
happy to do that. It's
Yeah.
like they started asking me, "Hey, what was the backup code we gave you 3 years ago?" And it's like, I don't remember what the backup code is. You know what I mean?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's like my luggage.
So good evening, everybody out there in the chat. We got FKHC 2005 sending in some love for Clobbering Times. Thank you for that. We appreciate that, and we do miss him. We got Gonzalo Bergali sending in a member chat for 39 freaking months. It's a long time. And Lost for Words also been here for 40 months, only 2 months away from knowing everything. So once that happens, my man, enjoy that month.
Yeah.
Because once it's over, you start forgetting all sorts of shit. Like where you put things, what room you're in,
Your
how many
password
children
for
you
your
have,
Twitter account.
the password to Price's Twitter account. And yeah, it all goes downhill from there. That's what they say.
It does.
But with that, let's break into the news because we do have some fresh news, I guess you could say. Let's start off with something funny. Rachel Zegler pissed some people off, so it's another day that ends in Y.
Oh, what now?
Another day that ends in Y, yes.
Rachel Zegler faces backlash. Actually, this came out yesterday, I guess it was, and I think I actually heard about it the day before, but this has been gaining traction anyway. She, if you guys don't recall, she's doing Evita in London at the Palladium. Get your tickets now before it's over, because Lord knows how long it's going to last. But I guess what happened is she pissed off the audience, or the production pissed off the audience, we should say, by performing the song's biggest hit outside on the balcony as it streamed inside for the patrons. So this is like going to see like Metallica and then having them go out on the roof to sing Enter Sandman and then coming back inside. It's like,
I'd actually call that a favor.
well, I know in Nick's world, maybe Enter Sandman, Metallica was I just tried to pick something that most people like Metallica. So
I know. But for me, that's called a favor.
Keep it up, and I'm going to play you some more Swedish
Thank you for
metal.
not playing that Metallica. You could come back and play Kill 'Em All front to back, maybe half of Ride the Lightning, and then I'll go home.
How about Nothing Else Matters? Does that do it for you?
That's a better one. There you
Don't
go.
make me vomit. I don't think that's in the Team America.
You know, actually, I think that the analogy
Saint
actually
Anger
works
here.
better with like a one-hit wonder, actually. So you got to come up with a one-hit wonder where they can perform all their crappy songs that nobody likes. So it'd be like if you went to see Vanilla Ice and he went outside to perform Ice Ice Baby where you couldn't see it live and then came back in. It's like, motherfucker, I came here to hear you sing one song.
By the way, you know that I once booked a gig for Vanilla Ice and it ended up getting canceled because of Vanilla Ice. This is a true story.
I think you might have told me this or said this story before, but go ahead.
Basically, somebody made an offer for him to perform somewhere, and I worked at a company that facilitated these type of deals for an event. So everything was fine. Everybody accepted all the terms. And then you know how you have a writer? You know, you have things that you need, like a sound writer, a technical writer, meaning he needs a certain setup on stage in order to perform, okay? So he gives this whole fancy list that he wants all these live drums and he wants all this stuff, and it's like as if he's performing this
live drums. None of his songs have live drums. What the fuck is he talking about?
Right. So he's asking, he's like, I want to bring a drummer. I want this to be a real show with like guitar. And people were like telling me at the venue, dude, we just want him to come in, do Ice Ice Baby and leave. We couldn't care less about all this shit that he's talking about. Can you make it go away? And I said, listen.
Can you make it go away?
No, this really is what happened. And I went back to him and his people and I said, listen, just let's forget about all these drums and all this weird stuff you want. Just do your song, do the thing and leave and you'll get paid. And he's like, no, it's either they bring the drums and I do it this way or I'm not doing it. And I'm like, okay. And then the deal actually fell apart. They backed out. They didn't sign it. Contract, still have an empty contract. That still exists.
That's hilarious. And this meme came down today and I had to use it. Now, speaking of Vanilla Ice. But yeah, so yeah, Rachel pissed some people off.
Well, I think their anger is misplaced because it was hardly her decision.
I get it. And that's what I said, the production too. I was adding that into there. Yeah.
And I've seen multiple videos of her performing because everybody's standing out there, recording it on their phone. Her vocals are phenomenal. But I understand that if I showed up to this play, I would be upset about not getting the live performance in front of me.
Yeah, a bunch of people got to see it for free, as you see here.
Yeah, nothing like paying ridiculous amounts of money for tickets to live theater and get to watch a live stream instead. I mean, that's
yeah. You might as well sit at home and watch it on YouTube. What the fuck?
Or not pay for tickets and just stand outside.
I mean, I assume was this maybe a marketing ploy because people aren't talking about the show? Is there a reason why she did this? I'm trying to understand. Did anybody sanction it? Why would she go out on a balcony and start singing?
To replicate the
scene, yeah.
I understand that part. I'm just saying, don't you think that maybe the people that produced this show wanted her to do that for the press or something?
Oh, of course.
I think it would have been handled better had it been for something for like Good Morning America type show where, yeah, she does perform it on the balcony of the Palladium. But not for the fucking show.
Right.
Or maybe just to do it like at noon every day, she comes out and sings the big song as kind of a promotion to get people to go, oh yeah, they got a Vita going on right now down at the Palladium with that bitch from Snow White.
Is anybody even buying tickets for this? Last I heard, there was a problem with the ticket sales.
I don't know about that, but I mean, look, here's the thing is I'm not trying to dump on Rachel Zegler because
why? Go ahead.
I mean, well, no, I'm just saying Broadway is Broadway's the kind of place for an actress like her. She's not going to make it. She doesn't have a future in film, at least for right now.
No.
The type of audience that does like her, right, is the Broadway audience for the most part / musical audience. I get that this is in London at the Palladium, but it's the equivalent, right, to Broadway here in the U.S. So, in that respect, I don't. She's right where she belongs, as far as I'm concerned. If Six says she can sing live, I believe her. I've never heard her sing live.
That's just an opinion.
So, yeah.
I mean, and I understand that from the bullshit garbage things that she said, it might be hard to hear that she is actually talented, but I think she's got some great vocals, but I think as far as her going out and, singing to the crowd and singing to the public, she's an attention whore. So I think the immediate gratification of having people cheer for you, as opposed to, filming on a set and then, waiting for months or years for the film to be, put together and then go out to the theater and then wait for the reviews and wait for the box office gross and all that. Like you said, Tom, I think Broadway is hopefully where she'll stick around.
That actually seems to suit her more, because if I've noticed one thing between people who liked or didn't like Snow Brown, the one thing that seems like there was a bit of a unification on was the singing. So yeah, you could still be a douchetarian and still have a talent, and maybe that is her proper skill set. Maybe that's where she should have been to begin with, regardless of her trashiness or not. It seems like the glove fits for her, unlike OJ. So hey, if anything,
she's not a douchetarian, Nick.
Yeah,
I got to correct you on this. She's not a douchetarian. She's a dictum. She acts like a dick, and then turns around and acts like a victim when everybody calls her out on it. Anyway,
I mean, if she trips on stage, I hope somebody gets it on video.
Well, and Boba Fett is right, and this is where I see this as stupid, and this may be my marketing background kicking in here, but I'm like, yeah, this is the dumbest marketing scheme in the world. Maybe once for like a one-off surprise in the middle of the day when nobody expects it, like I said before. But if you're doing it during a show, all that's going to do is tell people, I don't have to buy tickets to the show. I just look at my watch, see about what time the show starts, head on down to the Palladian and wait outside, and she will sing the best song in the show around whatever time, right? And I don't have to pay a fucking dime.
Yep.
And that's what's stupid about it, right? Like, that to me is like a backfiring of any kind of whatever they were trying to do with this. So yeah.
There are plenty of extremely talented people who are garbage human beings, and so those two things can exist together. Apparently, from what I have read, the decision here was made by the director of the play, is Jamie Lloyd. The director of the musical is the one that decided that they would be sending her out to this balcony to do this performance. And apparently, the current plan is that this will happen for every performance. And so there are many people, ticket holders, paying £245, that's 330 American dollars per seat, are just a little pissed off about this whole thing.
Because this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
They get to watch
number.
They get to watch the best part of the whole performance. They get to watch on a live stream. It's ridiculous, and so they are not particularly happy about this. I would not be surprised if this doesn't get more than maybe 4 or 5 weeks of play.
Yeah,
I think they did it. I think they did it for the controversy. I think that probably there have been weak ticket sales. Some people are buying the more expensive ones, but I know that it's not like a full house every time, at least the last time I looked. So now suddenly everybody's talking about it. It's like, wait, we paid tickets, but you're now doing it outside. We want to see you perform it inside. So suddenly this whole conversation, it's like changing the conversation. Instead of people saying, hey, nobody wants to come to see this show, now it's like people are getting ripped off because she's not giving them all they want from their tickets or whatever. It's a PR stunt. This whole thing is some PR
and it's
game.
going to blow up in their face. Like I just said, this is the stupidest thing ever.
This is something apparently this director has done before. In a previous production of Sunset Boulevard, performers would perform walking down the street outside the theater, and it would be streamed back into the theater. And it also happened apparently with the recent production with Tom Holland was there in Romeo and Juliet, where he performs one of the scenes on the roof.
That's just so stupid.
And so this, it's absolutely a gimmick.
What was that, Nick?
The Tom Holland, that's the one where he was with that one guy for the play.
I think, I don't know. It's Romeo and Juliet. That's all. Was it Romeo and Romeo? Trans? I don't know.
Romeo and Julio.
Julio and Romeo. Okay, what were you saying, Six? Sorry.
Just this link that you have up. Rachel Zegler's new project flops before it opens. Empty seats everywhere. This is from the end of April. However, I've been looking around. There's tons of seats available right now. And as of 7 days ago on Reddit, people are talking about how it's not selling very well. So
no, it's stupid.
It would have been a great marketing ploy. After they, maybe after the show opened, because this is running through September. So maybe they are trying to use this, to pick up, maybe promoting it more. And the main channel that I saw the video clips of her singing is, it's somebody that they use drones. They have a lot of access. They must live in London because I've seen a lot of behind the scenes images and videos of things that they've taken that I think they might know somebody in the industry. And the video that I saw from this person, they were like front and center. I mean, they're on the ground, but front and center for her. So I mean, there's obviously some shenanigans.
Well, what's the point of even doing it live? If you're going to stream it into the theater on a screen, you can just record it once. Hype.
I mean, we're talking about it now. Yeah. We wouldn't be talking about it.
No, I know. But again, I see no reason to buy a ticket, Six. And this is for my marketing. Yeah, I can just go down there, wait till the show's like at a certain point. Like I said, go outside, put my phone up, record her, and then go walk on about my day and not even worry about it. And somebody who I know is probably the biggest Evita fan ever and Rachel Zegler fan, Mark D with a C.
and Brian's not here tonight. Look what I just got in the mail. So
he didn't show up tonight.
Yeah, and he's not
It's not
here,
yet
so-
anyway.
So hopefully he'll be here. But I've got the coolest hat in town, so I'm going to be really
Are you
happy this
shitting
weekend.
me? We said his name enough times. I guess it's not. You don't
You
even have to
summoned
say it
me.
three.
Somebody summoned me. I heard my name.
Don't even have to say it 3 times like Beetlejuice. Just once is enough.
Oh, you got my hat. Mark got my hat.
Yeah, that's why I'm here. Yeah, so I'm going to be the coolest cat in town this weekend. Yeah, so
Yeah,
I'm going to be
cool.
at Rachel Ziegler show and going to be
Offer it to her.
telling
See what she
everyone-
thinks.
yeah, I'm at,
Yeah, get her to sign it and it'll be worthless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's worthless. Hey, 6. It's worthless anyway. Really.
Well, I
only
mean,
3
it'll
in
be
the
worth
world,
less.
right?
Less.
Anyway.
We'll have to
3
pay
of these in the
people to
world,
take it.
right?
What was that?
There's only 3 in the world right now. That's correct. You, me, and Christian Delorme.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Her signing it, and that's why 6 is right. I agree with her. As soon as you have Rachel Zegler sign it, it makes it worthless. Now it's worth something because there's only 3.
Yeah.
I think if they would have had her come out on that balcony once, maybe twice, but every night, like you said, what's the point in going? That's the climax moment. I don't know if it's the climax of the play, but it's
It's the song that everybody remembers. The "Don't
it's the
Cry
whole
for
reason
Me,
you're showing up. Yeah.
Argentina." Yeah.
Yep.
I feel like watching that play is a form of suffering. Like I'm thinking of myself having to sit through a play like that, and it would really annoy me.
What do we need it for? We already got the Madonna movie.
Oh God.
Oh God.
Literally the only movie my wife has ever walked out of.
I mean, I don't even know if Evita would be that great of a story to begin with. I've never actually watched the play or the film, so I can't speak to that. I've heard the song a bagillion times because it was on the radio constantly when Madonna's movie came out. So, and all I know is
Not a
that's
very
when she
good
took.
play.
Well, David
That's
Essex
what I
had
was thinking, Mark.
David Essex had the original hit when it first was a stage production.
Did they? Did they? Okay.
Yeah, that song. Yeah.
Well,
But it was just that
again,
one song. The music is not that good in that.
Yeah, that's what I'm
show.
saying.
It's
That's the only
you're
thing I know
waiting
about
for the
it.
one song. You know.
I know it's loosely based on a true story or whatever, but like, okay.
Actually, it was Julie. No, it wasn't. David Essex had a version of it. There was somebody else who was in the stage play back in the day that had a hit, and I can't remember her name now. I keep thinking
me
Julie
either.
Covington, but it wasn't her.
Which is funny because I think I actually have the original stage play version on
Yeah.
CD because when I buy lots on eBay, they love to throw in musicals in the soundtracks, and I'm like, motherfuckers. Like,
That made
I'm
another-
not that
Twilight.
gay. I'm only 25% gay. What, 6?
That's how you ended up with Twilight.
That is how I ended up with Twilight and Dr. Zhivago.
Well, that's a great movie.
Oh, it's a great movie. Yeah.
I don't know about that. I'm just saying I got the soundtrack, never seen it.
It's value for money. You get hours and hours of entertainment from that movie. It's so long.
John Evan Retro Bear is in the house. Retro Guy Bear, sorry. Says, why can't anyone get a Fantastic Four movie right?
It was
Well-
Julie Covington. Sorry, Julie Covington had the original hit.
Because Clobbering Times is not in charge of it. That's why.
That's right. That's one thing.
Yep.
It's not that they can't. Also, it's that they won't.
You know, I
So-
almost wish we never get a good, proper Fantastic Four movie because
So-
Clobby would never get to see it.
True. I do. I hear. So, okay, I'm not one to usually do this type of, let's just say, reporting. So take this with the fattest shake of salt you've ever heard. But apparently, Kevin Feige actually wanted Silver Surfer to be Norrin Radd, and he got overruled. I can't prove that. I'm just, I'm in that. I know someone who literally knows someone at Disney, and I was like, really? I almost don't believe that, but apparently he got overruled 2 to 3 type of deal, and apparently he was trying to get for Norrin Radd, and that's a big part of it, really, because even though it's a Fantastic Four movie, but the Silver Surfer is a big character. Norrin Radd's the Herald of Galactus. And then, of course, you got Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, and he's supposed to be the leader of the team, the leader, not second fiddle. So, yeah, they just don't want to get right. That's all it is. They don't want to get right. They it's clear that Marvel's trying to show signs of pivoting, but at the same time, they're trying to have their cake and eat it too. They know they have to pivot, but they don't want to go all the way with the pivoting. So they're trying to think maybe they can get away with having a little bit of the trash that they want while simultaneously trying to be, hey, look, we got Galactus right this time. He's not a cloud. Nah, bro, you got to go all the way in. I don't want this half-seas deal. I want every inch of it right.
That's the Silver Surfer.
Yes,
None of this.
that's the actual
Yeah,
Silver
there's
Surfer.
no question about casting the Silver Surfer. Shalabal is not the Surfer. It's Norrin Rad. So it was if Eric K's in the house, but that's the Surfer. I mean, it's just moronic to try to cast Shalabal. That's his girlfriend. I mean, it's okay to have a girlfriend.
And it doesn't help that the female Silver Surfer they did make looks awful.
That doesn't help either. Even here's the weirdest part about it. I talked with Gary Nerdrotic about this. I kind of feel like, even though that's such a bad part, I don't even think she's the worst part about this. I actually think Passhole being Reed Richards is somehow even worse. I don't know where you guys are on that, but I feel like that's even worse. That is just like, you can tell they're trying to go get a little bit right with the appearance of Johnny Storm and Sue Storm. And then even Passhole, let's just say, looked white, we'll just say it. He still wouldn't look like Reed Richards. Dude can't be saved. And then, of course, you have him playing the role of the cook. I mean,
that's the worst part of it, though, Nick. That's the worst part.
Insulting part of it is the cuckening. Insulting. But you know what? Whatever. Let that movie not do well. This is one of the rare times where I'm actually rooting for it to fail. Not just saying, if it turns out well, oh well. I'm in that. Please fail. Please fail.
Well, it would make sense to me if they have a crew of creatives, quote unquote creatives, in there who vote on these things, and it's stacked deck of.
They used to have a
people who are gonna
creative
make bad
community,
decisions.
committee, but not anymore. So that's why I don't know about that. But unless it's like Bob Iger and Esposito are the two people that outvoted him.
If you have the wrong people on the committee, then you're going to always get the bad decisions made.
Yeah, lost for word. Oh, go ahead.
I wanted to say that I think that Pedro Pascal is like barely a Latino man. I know I'm not I'm not the authority here to say if he is or if he isn't, but he's like the kind of Latino light. You know what I mean?
He's black like Obama.
Something like that. There's nothing about him that really makes it seem like he's Latino in any way. And it really doesn't even matter, like what Nick was saying. I don't think that his skin color has anything to do with the fact that his performance is just going to be shitty, because I think that he's an overrated actor. He's an okay character actor, but you needed somebody more charismatic for Reed Richards, and somebody that gives you this feeling that he's like the smartest guy in the room and he's like Mr. Charisma. And Pedro Pascal is none of those things.
For what it's worth, Nick, I think what you say matters.
Sometimes.
Well,
I saw that today.
I'm glad you feel that way. If no one did, I'd still stand by it, but thank you.
He's in everything.
That's right.
And what Nick Weiser said doesn't matter.
I guess he was in her too.
And now this is where Paulie can't give a shit no more about this, because somebody else somewhere in the world has made a comic of it. Once they've made the comic of it, that means it's hit the mainstream.
Yeah. I mean, it happens with a lot of actors. They're just overexposed. I mean, he could even be a good actor. You just get sick of seeing him and everything.
Overexposed, yeah.
Yeah.
For those who are just listening, the image, of course, is a comic of a lady getting an ultrasound. And the doctor says, "Oh, don't worry, that's Pedro Pascal. He's in everything."
And his picture is on the screen.
And his picture is on the ultrasound, yeah.
Well, I think after Fantastic Four opens, that this push might die off a little bit.
I think you got a point there. That's a plausibility.
I'll be surprised. I feel like
I can't believe
I could see this movie, let's just say potentially bombing. I believe they're still gonna like really push them, because if there's one thing I've learned when it comes to people who, let's just say, really emphasize on the message, they are gonna do whatever it takes to keep them in front of us.
Well, I have an audio clip from John Cleese which describes Marvel's creative people perfectly.
Let her rip.
Oh, it's maybe not playing. Hang on. I ruined the moment. Probably didn't play.
No, I didn't.
Pull your finger.
Hang on.
Yes, well, that's the sort of blinkered Philistine pig ignorance I've come to expect from you non-creative garbage.
Maybe that played. I don't know.
That's
It
quite
did,
British.
Yeah.
That's how, to me, that clip always describes the current state of Marvel and other Hollywood creative teams.
Oh Lord, yes.
I like
Thank
the
you for that.
retro look of the film. I have to say, I do like
Yeah.
the retro look.
Yeah, the
That's
retro
part of
design
where they're
isn't
trying to
bad.
have it both ways, 70s, because
Yeah.
that does look good. I
It
like
does.
that it's a colorful period piece. I like that the thing
Yeah,
looks a lot more like the
retrofuturism.
thing. I like that we got
Yep.
Herbie, a Galactus that looks like Galactus. Will probably
What, you got
sound like
herpes?
it. So and of course they had that Little Caesars commercial that was paying homage to the first issue cover with Giganto in it. So that's what I mean. They're trying to have it both ways. They're trying to have all these little things that are very accurate, very respectful of the source material, but then they want to go the other direction with these other things. And when they go in the other direction, they go in a polarizing other direction with these other things.
How much
Yeah, then we got-
Kirby look are we going to get in this? That's what I want to know, because the Eternals we got almost nothing. It's like, is this really going to look like a
So you
Jack
mean the
Kirby production? I
you
mean,
mean
I have a better
Eternals?
chance of becoming a Cubs fan.
Hey, I'm a Cubs fan.
Hey, there's
Well,
only
let's just
one
say
team in
instead
Means
of
you
the-
get to
Toronto.
become 6. Nick's going to become 6.
Let's just say instead of the Kirby Crackle, you're going to get the Kirby Crinkle. Yeah,
Well, in Wisconsin, they actually have a good Kringle in Racine. I actually like
they
the
do.
Kringle.
Kringle, yes, they do. Yeah, that's
Oh,
a
it's
Kringle.
so good.
Yeah.
I want to live in it.
Well, then we got Lost for Words, who says, "Good evening, panel and chat. What is everybody's box office total for Superman and Fantastic Four? By the way, Tom, I'm a few months away from 50. Well, guess what? You share a birthday with Jaws and stuff, so that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're both turning 50 now. Okay, so everybody's quick
50 what, though?
predictions.
50 what?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I was
So
going to say, is
everybody's.
it 50 months?
Yeah,
he a
50
member?
what?
I think he means 50 years old.
Yeah. it could
Oh,
be, but it could
That's
be
not the
50
years; it's the mileage.
That's right. Okay, so Lost for Words. Let's see here. Everybody's predictions for Superman and Fantastic Four. Brian, what do you think Fantastic Four and Superman are going to do?
Fantastic Four. You mean globally?
Yeah, let's do the full global and
I don't know. 380 million.
what?
Wow, that's awfully low.
See,
That's what I
300.
revised. I'm
Are
being
you talking about in
provocative.
the end?
Okay, 380 million and $1.
Like total box office
for
growth?
both of them, you just one
No,
apiece.
Fantastic Four globally.
Oh, okay,
Superman,
yeah.
I think 725 million.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense. All right,
Oh.
Fantastic Four,
So-
I'll say 380 million.
380 to 7.
I'm writing this
50
down.
grand.
What was your
write
Superman
it
one?
down.
725 million and $3.
25 and 3. Okay.
Okay.
Why does it always have to be a round number?
I no idea.
No one said it did.
That's why coins are round.
Yeah,
Superman
it's true.
could do
But
more
bills
than
are
that.
square.
To be fair, if
You can say.
it turns out to be half decent, it will probably do more than that. But
Fair enough.
if it isn't, that's probably
Mark, what do you think?
I think FF will do better than the Thunder Turds, so I think probably about 480 for the FF, because I think then the Thunder Turds do like 400, so like 480 to 500 for the FF, and I think Superman's going to do better. I think 925 for Superman. I think
Ooh.
just the legacy of that character, people love Superman, so and I'm counting on this being good. So that's my prediction. We'll see.
All right, CC.
I'll go 410 for Fantastic Four. I don't think it's going to grab any kind of traction. And for Superman, I expect Superman to be completely 5 out of 10. And I think it's going to fall off a cliff because of that. So
Yikes.
I'll be kind to it. I think that it finds its way to 700. Because it's probably the movie of choice, especially since the whole dinosaur thing is not grabbing the traction that I might have thought it was before. So that'd be my prediction: 700 for Superman and just a little over 400 for Fantastic Four.
All right. Neek.
Wow. For a guy who likes to wail on first steps the hardest, I'm actually probably going to give it the highest score out of all of us. I think I'm going to go somewhere between 550 and 600 mil worldwide. I think there's going to be decent worldwide interest initially. There's going to be, because the Fantastic Four does have its fans, and they're going to see it no matter what. And then I feel like after that, it's going to fall off a cliff. So I feel like a lot of that money is going to come from a good first weekend. And then, yeah, the rest will be history there. As for Superman, Man, my number has changed all over the place with this one. And yeah, Cluckio, no way it's making it. Might not. It might not. This is me playing to my most generous self here with the numbers. This is where I'm the most generous here. For Superman at the most generous, ooh boy. I think the best case scenario is 750 mil, maybe.
What?
750.
Wow.
What is that, high, low? I don't know. I don't know what you guys are doing.
That's your
Higher
prediction.
than me. Higher than me.
I'm aiming higher for Superman, obviously, not because like I like him more. I'm just trying to gauge where interests are. I'm at a workplace with over 100 workers, lots of normies. Not one worker has asked me about my thoughts on the Fantastic Four trailer. Not one. And I'm the only, let's just say, geek nerd type at my place. Superman has been brought up to me a handful of times at work. What do I think of the trailer? There is at least talk about Superman. There's discussion. It seems a bit mixed. Some say, oh, I'm looking forward to what's going on. Is this a different universe? Is this the same? There's some confusion there. Fantastic Four, there's not a word. Not a word. That should tell you something about the picture here. It seems like there's genuine interest from a normie perspective on Superman. From a normie perspective, there's definitely more of a interest on that one by far and large. But anyways, I'm going to pass the baton to Bryce.
Price
I
left.
think he stepped
Professor,
away.
what you got?
Yeah, what do you got, Professor?
All right. I'll be honest. I think comic book movies are done. We saw Thunderbolts was a disaster. Even though it had good word of mouth, it still didn't break 400. I think we're looking at maybe 415 for Fantastic Four. And I got to be honest, I do not think that Superman is going to perform as well as some people think it is. People are talking about billion-dollar films. I'm going to say 675. That's going to be the max.
Professor, I think that's good to not do. Granted, whether it needs to make that in terms of his budget's a different story, but I think outside of that, the whole this has got to make a billion. Everyone throws.
I don't think it breaks 700.
It might not. You might be right. I'm playing it to the most generous card in the one. I don't feel like it's. I get why you compare it to the new Avengers Thunderbolts, but for me, it's almost not fair. Not because Superman and the Thunderbolts don't even compare. Superman.
Well, no, I'm not saying that. The Thunderbolts. I'm saying that's the MCU is done. People don't care about the MCU anymore.
I feel like there will be the exceptions, is what I was like.
But with
Spider-Man has a shot. A Superman has a shot.
It does.
Yeah, not really.
But Superman, it's got a shot. It's got James Gunn behind it. I just think in general, the audience is done with comic book movies. I don't think they're going to care that much. It's going to get a boost because it's James Gunn. It's going to get a boost because it's a property we haven't gotten a movie from in a while. But again, that boost is still. That's not going to push them to 900 million. It's just not. I don't think it's going to happen.
Okay, well, my guess, and I used to be dead on with this shit, and then Barbie hit, and I couldn't have been wronger in my whole life. So I've completely lost my mojo. I know that was a couple years ago. I used to really study this stuff, and now I'm like, I don't fucking know. Fantastic Four, I'm saying 525. Superman, 1.2 billion.
Whoa, 6 aiming for the sky.
No.
Dissenting
what
opinion.
If she's right? What if she's right?
She could be right. She could be right, but I can't see it happening. I don't think that Superman crosses the 700, and I don't think that Fantastic Four crosses the 500.
So what's your prediction then, Price? That's what everybody's throwing out there is their number.
I'll go with 470 for Fantastic Four, and I guess I'm with the Professor, 675 for Superman.
Hey, I thought I was being pessimistic. You guys are way lower than me.
Well, I do agree with R2 that superhero
numbers after they both come up. Please follow up.
She usually does. Because she usually reminds me that she has the numbers if she has them. I'm going to agree with Professor R2 that the superhero movie is dead, but we always talk about the exceptions to the rules, right? And I think Superman might be one of the exceptions to the rules. So, my prediction for this and this kind of goes along with all the shit going on today, and we might as well just cover it here now with the whole box office business, because you've got so many different predictions today coming out as far as where the box office is going to land for Superman's opening weekend. And the initial number that everybody's coming out with and
Oh, I thought
putting
it
it
was
up.
higher.
Yeah, well, the thing is the company that Box Office Theory was the original company that put out the initial higher estimation, and that's where everybody's comparing this new estimate to that. Hollywood Reporter is putting out 135. I think Deadline's in line with that, and then Variety's even going lower with 90 to 125 million.
So it would have
Here
to
it says
be
at 90 to 120 million as well. But here's the thing with that Box Office Theory. Even though they seem to be off compared to everybody else, they have been more on in their predictions over the last few movies than anybody else. So I'm thinking this is gonna go higher than they think it is, or the studio, because usually I think these numbers that come out now are the studio's numbers that they put out. So I think that they might be trying to hedge their bets a little bit and make it look like it's a much bigger opening than they anticipated it being, because they already know it's going to hit somewhere in that 150 range, maybe in that area, maybe 130 at the lowest. But my prediction is at the end of the day, the movie's going to, and I just think it's going to do well. I think it's going to do about 900 million, maybe 925. And I'm going to stick with my 444 million prediction for Fantastic Four, just to be funny. Because I think it's going to be right in line.
I just don't see how we go from 135 opening weekend domestically to 900 a billion.
Because the normies are into this, and because my dad told me about it
are
today.
Ha,
I think so.
I just got why you picked 444 million.
Yeah.
I'm a little slow.
You should pick 444.4
See,
million.
and once my dad starts telling me stuff, that's when I know it's tapped
Yes,
into
but is he going to go and see it?
I think he wants to see it.
Really?
I think that, because usually that's when he asks me about stuff like this, is usually because last time he did was Beetlejuice. And that's when I sadly had to tell him after I saw it that, yeah, you're not going to like it. So he's like, oh, never mind. Because once I started telling him the problems with it, he's like, yeah, I don't want to see that.
Who all said, or who all on the panel is going to see Superman on the night of July 8?
I'll be there.
I'll be there.
Awesome.
Yep, I've got my ticket.
And I do
I'll be there
on
too.
doing a stream that later on that evening.
Sweet.
Once we get back. So do take note of that. But all right, let's keep moving here. Now that we kind of covered the box office business with this super chat, we can move on to our next story after we get these super chats here about Rachel Zegler. Jason Webster says Rachel Zegler is the new Brie Larson.
Weird.
Kind of.
Poor Brie though, because she never said anything as horrible as what Rachel Zegler, in my opinion, has
Brie
said.
Larson seems nicer now.
Yeah,
She does,
exactly.
in retrospect.
I think she had a publicist come in and help her, but no, I think Six is right. Like, it was like Rachel said, "Here, hold my Bud Light," and went off. Like, yeah.
Brie is bad news, because I know someone in the entertainment industry, and I asked her, I said, "Is that stuff they're saying about it that bad?" And they said, "Yes." It's like you can always tell how someone is when they treat the people that work for them. And said she was just horrendous. Now maybe she's changed since this happened, but that was that interview.
She's got even worse.
Remember when she got into with Chris Hemsworth about who was the strongest, and he was just laughing and she was kind of taking it seriously. So I have some inside knowledge of that. And then she's like, she was terrible. So maybe she's gotten the message and changed, but I can see where things go to your head when you get that popular. But look, I've got the 70s rock fan hat now, so I'm going to be just a real
it's like putting the smart hat on. You're immediately, your thoughts become better, stronger, cleverer, insight, all that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can't speak to that time period or how she treats her personal bubble yet now, but I have heard that she did seek out some help to help her image in the public. So if you haven't noticed, she has quieted down. She hasn't said shit. And I think the telltale thing was when they asked her about the whole Marvel thing, and she's like, "Does anybody really want me back?" Like, I mean, she flat out said it. Like, she obviously is aware of it. And I know I heard and I heard the YouTube thing really upset her too. Right. So I think that was a
channel that didn't do well.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that she was humble.
It's weird that someone needs assistance on how to be a decent human being in public.
Yep.
I do think she was humbled though by that experience.
Oh,
I
she is.
feel
I do
like when
too.
I look in her eyes now, even in interviews, yes, she probably got coached, but she also got kind of beaten down. You could tell that she's not as cocky and arrogant as she was before, because like she had some failures and she felt it.
She
She was
probably went
forced
on
to step.
Prozac. She probably went on Prozac, and now she has like she feels nothing.
She was forced to step outside of her bubble, her Hollywood bubble.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
I'll give her credit in that regard. I can tell she definitely has learned from her mistakes, and maybe, who knows, maybe somewhere down the line that will become a story for a redemption arc. But man, she, even on her worst day though, she's nothing, and I mean nothing compared to the Zeg. I mean, Snow Brown makes Brie Larson seem like a great person on her worst day.
That's right. She makes her look like Mother Teresa. You know.
I can't believe I'm saying that I agree with that, but I do.
So moving on to the Rachel Zegler story, ActionCom says important question: will Argentina cry for her? I don't
Undoubtedly not.
Well, yeah. Given the current political environment there, I think not.
Yeah. And then we got Jason Webster, who says, I agree. She gave the best Lord Farquaad impression in Snow White. Oh.
Even better than Culture. Remember Culture's some of those haircuts that Culture Casinos had over the years.
Lord Culture was so hilarious.
Not so much hair do's as hair don'ts in Culture Scheme.
Yeah.
Little Lord Culture.
Little Lord Culture. Little Weaver.
Culture, if you're listening, I love you.
We love him. Hopefully he's feeling better. I know he was feeling a little bit under the weather, so I checked in with him yesterday to see how he's doing. He's doing okay, but not great. So yeah, hopefully he feels better soon. I haven't talked to him since though. So Corin sends in 2 and says one problem with Fantastic Four is that Wednesday have to see it a second time. You have to see it a second time, Corin, on purpose? I'm sorry. Have you seen it already?
I think he means we'd have to see it a second time.
To make those numbers.
Like minus the apostrophe.
Oh,
maybe
maybe. I guess I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Corin, if you want to expand on that, don't send another super chat. Just put it in the chat.
Yeah, just go ahead and say something in the chat and Six will grab it. But like, yeah, see, I don't know. Superman is the only one I plan on seeing again if I like it. Unless Fantastic Four really knocks my socks off.
Yeah, I'm going to go Tuesday and I'm going to go Thursday because I took both those days off specifically for Superman.
And the only reason
Fantastic gets killed. What if Pedro gets killed? No, just kidding.
That might be a good ending then.
Well, it's an alternative universe, so yeah, he probably could.
Sue takes over the team. Yeah.
But no, the only reason I'm thinking about going seeing Superman twice, and that's only if I enjoy it enough, is it's not 3D in its initial showing, and I want to see it in IMAX 3D. So if it's good, I will go again on Thursday like Six is. But yeah,
I've lost all hope in it being good.
Oh, we'll talk a little bit more about it.
Dude,
are you on Prozac,
Larson
DC? Are you dead inside?
No work since the Marvels and Fast X.
Yeah, and Soul Nightmare does point out that Superman has already made 10 million in pre-sales. Domestic tracking, even at the lowest, is looking great. Yeah, so this is even better than the Batman did in its pre-sales. And the Manila stop of the world tour was a hit. So yeah, they did this thing in Manila. I don't think they showed the whole movie, but they showed like 30 minutes of it or something like that. So yeah. Batmobile sends in $2. It says to make money. Okay. Was that another part of a super chat that I missed?
I missed it.
Or is
too.
that the same guy as before and he changed his name between super chats?
Possibly.
Let me check the fan funding too.
Yeah, probably. Yep. Probably.
That's what I think it was. Okay, so I think what he's saying is we'd have to go see it twice to make money. I think you guys were right. So yeah, I think that's the same guy. And while Six is checking that out.
It's not the same guy.
Oh, it's not? Okay,
Totally different guy.
Then I don't know what he's referring to.
Or girl.
Well, maybe
again. Post it in the chat. You don't have to send another super chat if you want to expand on it.
Doc Fortune sends in 5 though and says Six said Superman would do 1.2 billion, and I immediately drove by a single cloud with a rainbow coming out of it. Well, you might find a pot of gold. A pot of gold. SFX F314 Sabretooth Raptor sends in 10 smackaroos. Holy shit. Pop Goes Elmer Fudd is the perfect example of Star Wars. Star Trek, I think you meant there.
Yeah.
Marvel,
Star Wars,
etc.
Star Trek, Marvel. Yeah.
Elmer equals us. Daffy equals Wacky Worlders. The man trying to sleep, upper Wacky Worlders, smurfing Elmer in the nose. Yeah, I think I know the Looney Tunes episode or short you're referring to here. Yeah, I can see the analogy. And then they took Elmer's guns away because he's got too much white male wage.
They give him like an axe or something instead. It's
They
like
gave me an axe instead.
It's always going to be a lot more brutal, depending on how it's used. It can be a lot more brutal
Right?
and gory.
I'm going splitting hairs. Valentine Puppy is in the house. How you doing? Says here July 10th fan event free comic. I'm going. Well, there you go.
See,
There you
that's
go.
called incentivization.
I think the fan event that we're going to is supposed to get a free comic too, but I'm not 100% on that.
If it does, great, because I have noticed Gunn for some of the things he has done right, and this is some, is the acknowledgement of comic creators. I know he brought a lot of them on to visit the set of Superman, and he's obviously made it a point to, hey, look, check out the comics with certain previews at theirs. I remember there was a thing with the Suicide Squad. So we'll see, if that continues to hold for him. I just hope he dials back on the new 52 and anything with the name Tom King on it.
All right, well, so this is just to kind of finish up the stuff we were talking about before, because this was actually going to be a story, but we already kind of, through our predictions, talked about a lot of this. The company that originally did the 175 million prediction was Box Office Theory. One source, so keep that in mind. But predictions from them already, according to this, they predicted the Thunderbolts to open at 70 million, and it opened to 74, so they were off by 4 million. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, they also predicted would gross 75 in its opening weekend, and also ultimately it did 79, again, only off by 4. Captain America: Brave New World also had similar projections of 96. Now that one was off a little bit more, but again, this is what I'm pointing this out is because their predictions so far have been pretty good this year.
I was going to say, what I've noticed the pattern is that they're no more than 10 million off, up or down.
Now, again, this is just these movies they used as examples. They could be cherry picking. I haven't looked at their other stuff, but I was just saying, like, this is what everybody was comparing the new numbers that came out today to, which are so vastly different.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So again, I don't know what to believe or what to think. We'll have to wait and see how the opening weekend actually pans out.
Like if it's a good movie, great. But in my head, I'm just thinking it's going to be a 5 out of 10, and it's going to drop off a cliff, something like 65-70% on that second weekend.
What have you seen?
Do the head
CC?
math from there.
Like, why
What
do
have
you
I
give
seen?
it? What have you?
Well,
what have you seen in the trailers? That
You know,
makes
the fisheye lenses, the crappy CGI, the just too many characters, just all the stuff that I'm just tired of, and I don't really want to. I just
okay.
that's
Well,
like classic.
The one
Superman
shot
movie
you're
that's
worried
focused.
about is no longer in the film, or it may not have ever been
Never was
supposed to
in
be
the
in the film. Because this, among a few other tidbits that didn't make it into their initial interview with James Gunn about Superman with Entertainment Weekly, were dropped today. And that was one thing he did address, is that shot just didn't quite work for him, and he took it out. And let's face it, he acknowledged that the internet didn't like it, and whether he wants to take full responsibility for it or not, I got to give him credit that at least was smart enough to say, yeah, this has got to go one way or the other.
But him taking it out had nothing to do with the fan reaction to it.
According to what he says, but
Yeah,
I'm
because
going to take that with a grain of salt.
because this article from Entertainment Weekly, this was stuff that they never published
Yeah.
when they first put out the article. This interview was done on May 22nd.
Yeah, but
They
that
just
trailer,
never
I think, predated
posted.
that. By a
Yeah,
little
it
bit.
did. But like you said, it's
So
what
right
he said.
here.
You're right. He might be lying. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he might be fibbing a bit, but so he goes, it was a TV commercial. It wasn't a finished visual effects shot. So the part of him flying, it was a photograph of his face and him flying. It was a photograph of a drone flying in front of an actual background. So all the pieces were real, but it was incorporated kind of funky way. So that's because he did say at the time, they were all real elements, that none of it was CGI, right? So that's what he's reiterating here. He goes, I didn't love the shot. So it's not even it's not even the shot that's in the movie. Sometimes I'm pretty strict about when I go through the trailer and looking at each of the shots, but sometimes the commercials I forget to look at this closely. So this one kind of got away from me. So I mean, he's making excuses, but I do have this kind of inkling that because look, we all know James Gunn hovers over social media. And he's well
Is the
aware of
movie
what he
still
does.
about social media?
Well, it has that element in it.
He talks about social media too, that he has somebody else posting for him, that they send him questions and he answers them. And he said that sometimes when he's on a flight and he has time, he'll post himself on Threads. So when you see him posting on Threads, numerous posts, that's him. But otherwise, he has somebody posting for him on his other social media.
Yeah,
I mean, I like that he's involved, but yeah, I just don't like someone else posting for you. You should always say like, "This is not James Gunn. This is James Gunn's assistant or something." Too. I mean,
I'm going to set up a Twitter feed, James Gunn's assistant. I'm going to do it right now.
Honestly, I assume that 99% of them have some sort of assistant, unless they're like Jason Isaacs.
I mean, I have one. I don't do my
Kevin
own
Smith.
posts.
Of course,
That's right, 6 to 6.
yours is. I'm yours, and you're mine. People don't know that, but
This isn't even really Six talking now. This is her assistant.
this is her assistant talking.
She's such a bitch to work for.
LMD, life model decoy.
Oh, is she drunk with Sanson chick? Let's get this motherfucker started.
I love Wisconsin drunk.
All right, yeah, let's before I get too crazy. So yeah, and he did also point out that there are going to be characters in Superman who have not been announced yet. And then he says again the same damn thing he did before about Matt Reeves' Superman. It's getting to the point where it's like, dude, you're almost making it. How do I put this? Like, just I'll read this out loud. Okay, so they asked about the Batman thing again. He goes, well, I don't think Matt really pays attention to that stuff much online, is what he's referring to. He's got a lot of other things happening, so I don't think he lets it affect him. He's fine. But I'm irritated by people. I mean, it's just a thing. People don't need to be entitled about it. It's going to come out when he feels good about the screenplay. And Matt's going to give me the screenplay until... He's not going to give me the screenplay until he feels good about the screenplay. I mean, the way he's like constantly sticking up for Matt with this, and then he says stuff like, like, why are you bitching at the fans who actually want to see it? Right. And then on the other side of it, so what if people like me are reporting that the movie's never going to happen? If the movie happens, then it just proves us wrong. So it's almost like the lady doth protest too much. Is that, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but like there's something about his responses to this all the time that just make me feel like he's trying to play the good guy when he's already told Matt that this shit ain't going to happen. Or Matt's told him that he just doesn't have it in him.
James Gunn seems a little protective of Matt Reeves. And if those two are friends, then more power to him. I would do the same thing for a friend.
Yeah. Is he going to the mat for Matt?
I think so. That's what I'm getting at. But I mean, I'm not wholly convinced that the fucking movie's still going to happen.
Not in a sheepest way, Brian.
In a sheepest way, did you say?
Yeah. Not that kind of going to the mat, yeah.
Are you some kind of ovinophobe?
So yeah, so I don't know if anybody else got a chance to read this and if there was anything else that stuck out to anybody that they wanted to discuss, but I just thought it was another...
it's going to be a long time before we see that Batman movie.
Yeah, and I mean,
he's
James
talking about
keeps saying that his Batman is his priority, right? So...
Yeah. Well, and he did mention specifically Tom King's Supergirl, that he wanted to make a movie about it. So, because I was kind of hoping that, what was it, Supergirl World of Tomorrow?
Is that Woman of Tomorrow. Yeah.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Professor?
Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow.
Woman of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
But they dropped the Woman of Tomorrow, but it sounds like from this interview, it's just going to be Tom King's.
I think they renamed it. What is a Woman of Tomorrow?
That's the Matt Walsh cut.
An adult human Kryptonian or adult Kryptonian, yeah, something. Female Kryptonian.
So yeah, so I didn't know if there was anything else in there that anybody wanted. We already kind of discussed a lot of Superman already, so.
Well, and I thought his response. Sorry, just one more thing. Entertainment Weekly asked him, "Have you cast the other two, Wonder Woman and Batman?" And his response, and this is typed out, so we don't know what he sounded like. I would love to
Right.
know what his, how he sounded when he answered this. But he said, no, ... Well, we cast Robert Pattinson, so he is still there. I mean, why would you get asked if you've cast the other two, Wonder Woman and Batman, and you say no? Oh yeah, we have Robert Pattinson. I just thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, it is kind of comes off weird, and you're right. I would love to hear how he says it that way.
Yeah.
Like, it could be like, well, we got Robert Pattinson. I mean, yeah, but I mean, other than that, no, we haven't cast the other two yet, is what I kind of would take it as. He's saying it, but you're right. Like, without hearing his voice and how he's contextualizing it or whatever, yeah, it's kind of hard to, because I can already tell you that he's made it fairly fucking clear that Robert Pattinson is not who he wants for his Batman. And the world that Matt Reeves has made is not the world that he wants to make. And I think, were we just talking about this Tuesday, Nick? Or was it some other show? Because I know it was you I was talking to about it. All right, I know you were around when I brought it up, because I said the whole thing, the vibe I'm getting from James Gunn is he wants his DC universe to be very comic booky, and Matt Reeves' Batman is too fucking grounded.
Yeah, and the Batman movie, even if I liked it, just imagine that world. One of my biggest issues with it is so far grounded that it just feels like there's no sense of like powers or anything that's got magic or like other planets.
It'd be tough to see like Clayface in that world or Croc or anything like that.
I can't be convinced a villain like that would exist in that world because of how much they grounded it. And once again, that works for some stories, but when you try and make it the DC universe, you need to, acknowledge, hey, look, there's space cops. There's a island that's stranded. That's only women. You also have a guy who can go to the microverse, aka God, why did I just forget his name?
Adam.
The Atom. Then you got a guy who's every time he dies, he reincarnates, Hawkman. Those are very out of ground elements. Those are out of body elements. And you can't have those things in a grounded story. It would just absolutely shatter all those types of characters.
What about the success of the Penguin TV series? Does that play into, getting the movie back out there, or they really don't care about that?
It's funny you mentioned that, because that's kind of what I had been, because going back to when Zaslav first took over, James Gunn became head of DC, the stuff I was hearing was that the Batman didn't make the kind of money they were hoping it would make. It disappointed, especially when the Joker made $1 billion. They would expect the Batman to be able to make $1 billion too. So if there was going to be a Batman 2, it had to be shorter and better. So that was the mandates, basically. I mean, there was more specifics.
Don't make it a musical.
Yeah, don't make it a musical, right? So anyway, that was the mandate going forward. They wanted a Batman 2 and they wanted a Joker 2. That was all they knew in the meantime, while James was kind of organizing what he was going to do over at DC. Well, it's just gone on and on and on. And then the rumor I'd heard is that it wasn't going to happen, or if it does happen, it'll probably go to HBO Max, because they don't want two competing Batman in theaters at the same time. It's too confusing. And James does kind of address the confusion in there, but he also does kind of put out there, like, they could plausibly have two things going on at the same time, and he knows the audience will be a little confused, but he thinks they'll understand. But I just don't see a studio allowing that to happen.
Wait a minute. You're missing there's a great marketing opportunity here. They could eventually end up with a Batman v Batman movie.
That's true.
They
and
could
he
have
doesn't
them
even
both.
talk about a lot of that kind of crap too.
They could have them both in the same movie.
Well,
get Schneider to direct it.
Spider-Man No Way Home style with all the Batman. I could see that. He had me until Snyder. But anyhow, so yeah. So then I was hearing, then fast forward a little bit more, and I was starting to hear that the Batman 2 was going to be, whatever happens is going to be reliant on how well the Penguin performed. Well, the Penguin performed well. So at that moment, if you notice again in the headlines, that's when talks of Batman 2 started up again. Because they're saying, we're expecting a script. We're expecting a script. Well, that was when they told Matt Reeves, like, yeah, where's that script? But let's do a Batman 2 and get it out there before, Batman Brave and the Bold starts to come together so we can get this shit over with. And that's another reason why I think Matt Reeves was talking about this as his trilogy. When he talked about his trilogy, I think he's talking about Batman, the Penguin, and Batman Part 2. There is going to be no Batman Part 3. I think that's it. This is the end of the road for him. If this even happens, I'm still not convinced it will. because I'm still not convinced that they'll still get the script and go, yeah, we're not going to do it. Thanks anyway. Like, yeah, they're contractually obligated to take his script, I guess. But I mean, at that point, they're not contractually obligated to make the movie. And he got a 5-picture deal that's separate from this around the same time the initial things were kind of hitting, where I was hearing business that he was probably not going to make the sequel anyway. And then you start hearing all this health issue stuff. If he really did have health issues, don't you think that James Gunn would have either addressed it or shot it down? And notice he has not. But he does still refer to things going on in Matt's life. So again, we have no answers here as to what the fuck is going on. And it makes you wonder, is he going to write it and then pass it off to another director? Because there was that thing that got out there that, you know, they were renting facilities for the Batman 2, getting it ready, and they didn't have a director listed, but some people said, oh, that's normal. I'm like, is it? Like, maybe they just don't have a director yet. But anyhow, that being said, they don't have a script, so how can they have a director yet anyway? But that being said, speaking of directors, James Wan is a very popular director. I'm sure most of you have heard of him. I'm not the hugest James Wan fan, but I do know of his work. And believe it or not, kids, I have not yet to see one Saw movie in my entire life, because some asshat spoiled the ending of the first one for me when it came out. So I was just like,
Never
yeah, I
saw
don't need
it?
to see that. Never
Second
saw
one's
Saw.
worth it.
That's
See,
quite
and
the
everybody's
grudge.
told me I should get into it. What was that, 6?
That's quite the grudge.
Well, and then
that
I
you're
started
holding
hearing
against a whole franchise.
Well, and then I started hearing that it's more like basically like torture porn.
Yes.
And I'm like, yeah, that's not my style.
That's all it is.
But the big news is if you guys remember, we covered it, I think, on the morning show last week, that the Saw franchise rights were up for sale, at least the one part of them, not the Lionsgate part, but the other side. Let's see if they say the other company's name here. But the company has paid an undisclosed amount for their part of the franchise, which is currently owned by Oren Cools and Mark Berg. In a statement, Cools said it felt like time is right to pass the baton, while Berg said he wanted to move on to tell new stories. So they bought out part of the franchise, and Lionsgate will still end up releasing them. And with the deal, franchise makes its way back to James Wan, who directed the original Blood-Soaked Saw in 2004. Wan's Atomic Monster label merged with Blumhouse in 2024. Company's list of films include Get Out, The Purge, Megan, and Annabelle. Jason Blum, the founder of Blumhouse, said that Saw had defined a generation of horror, and I think Blum even worked on the original one, because there's a picture going around right now of him and James Wan, and I think it's from the original Saw, because they got the doll and everything. So yeah, they don't seem to list name the company that they bought. I can't remember the name of it. It's like Twisted Productions or something like that it was called. But they sold out that part, and now, so it's kind of come back to James Wan in a weird way. So I don't know if there's any fans on the panel who want to wax about it. Sadly, I don't have much more to add than the facts of the matter, and that's about it. So
I'm not a fan. Not into torture porn. If I want to if I want torture porn, I'll watch Marvel movies. That's torture.
Yeah, I don't like that kind of horror.
Nah,
just the
not me.
pictures. I thought it was something like that.
Yeah,
Thank
I've
you.
never seen them either.
Nah, not for me.
Not
That
for
kind
me.
of stuff doesn't get. Yeah, I just that gets me. I mean, I started watching the first one and I had to stop it. Just like the body chops, parts getting chopped off, just doesn't do it for me.
I watched that first one, and I said to myself, "That's fine," and then I never watched any more.
Once you've seen people getting their limbs chopped off, once you've seen it a number of times.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like something I want to see over and over again.
Well, our panel doesn't bode well for the franchise.
Yeah. But you guys,
I know there's a
super
hardcore
popular.
crowd that love it. Yeah, I mean, there's people that love them. Yeah.
But horror seems to be super popular right now. It's just, I mean, not going to take over the
Cheap
superhero
and
genre,
cheerful.
but maybe it will, right? Yeah, but it seems to be one of the genres that just keeps killing it at the box office. Pardon the pun.
Oh, we lost Price. Hopefully he'll be back. Probably just
I forgot what I was going to say. Sorry.
He's going to lop off a limb or two. He'll be
Yeah,
back.
he went to lop off a limb or two. He's just so upset about our saw.
Oh, I almost went to
Taste.
see 28 Years Later today, but I
Oh.
hate watching horror movies in the theater because I get scared and I'm afraid somebody's gonna jump up behind me or something.
Aw.
So
Well, I've heard good things about it. I have still yet to see the original of that either, but I
yeah,
do have
apparently
them
it's
now.
doing really
Well, that's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, first one's quite good.
So there you go, kids. If you're a fan of the Saw franchise, I thought I'd pass along the news. That sounds like, I guess, some good news for.
Well, great for people who love it, and I've got nothing
Yeah.
against them. It's just not my cup of tea.
Mhm.
I hope they go on to be successful.
Well, speaking of cup of teas, ActionCom wants to know what you think, 70s, of Will Smith's latest song, Yay or Nay.
Never heard it.
He likes
I'll
pretty
have to go look
girls,
for it
pretty
now.
Girls.
No,
Yeah.
still never heard it.
Yeah.
I'll check it out later. Action. I will.
Uh,
I do have a couple of Will Smith albums buried in the library. Will any?
yeah, you would think singing about pretty girls, he would learn that girls of the world ain't nothing but trouble, but hey, and there's Price.
But yeah, men do crazy things for love, for better and worse.
And then ActionCom says 28 years later, gonna make it. Well,
it's already been
I don't
made.
plan on it, but
Is Pedro in it?
I don't think he is.
Go with that one guy. Who's that one guy?
Oh, Cillian Murphy?
Yeah, he's in
Cillian
it.
Murphy's in it, yeah.
I heard a rumor.
Yep.
Is
If it's
Pedro
Pedro
needs another
Pascal,
zombie
if it was Pedro, it would be 28 movies later.
Valentine Puppy says Keaton Batman Forever before he dies. Do it. Love me. Love me Night's Edge. Like you mean like a direct sequel to Batman Forever? I mean, if he'd be willing to do it and they could come up with something that works in some way, I wouldn't have a problem with going back to that universe again. That was one of the highlights, I guess you could say, if there is any, out of Flash. Then you got to watch him die how many times?
They did the action pretty well for an old dude in the bat suit, I thought.
Yeah. What was that?
I didn't like
CC?
that movie, but that part actually pissed me off.
Seeing him die all those times.
The way they did it. It's
Yeah,
just kind of
yeah.
like yeah.
Yeah, I think it could work if you could find a good script for it and everybody get on board, kind of pay homage to Batman Forever universe kind of thing. Yeah. Or you want, or you mean like to do an AI version of it? Is that what you're saying, to like put him into Batman Forever? Is that what you mean? That, I mean, somebody probably will at some point. Like that's inevitable. That's going to happen.
I mean, the way AI is going now, it's just unbelievable. The
Yeah,
stuff.
the only
that's
problem
really
I'd-
at infancy now, but yeah.
The
it's
only
just
problem I'd
insane.
have with it now is that Val Kilmer is no longer with us, so it almost feels a little disrespectful. But yeah, at some point somebody's going to do it. And then Carlos brings up that we'll have 28 Pedros later. That's true. That's so true. Well, speaking of AI, that's actually a really good segue into our final story. Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan films among Kung Fu classics that are set for AI remakes.
What?
Why?
How are they going to do that?
Why?
That's when the whores come in.
So what is this about? A collection of Chinese film studios set to plan to reimagine the Kung Fu classics in their libraries using AI technology. The studio partnered with China Film Foundation and announced their plans under the Kung Fu Film Heritage Project, a large-scale plan to restore martial arts films at the Shanghai International Film Festival. The announcement was first reported by THR and Variety, includes the goal of remastering 100 seminal Kung Fu films using AI to enhance the overall... Oh, no!
They're going to take away the film grain? They're going to remove the film grain?
Yeah.
Part of the charm of them is the ropey production quality.
Exactly.
Right?
That's half the thing that you like about them is the
Oh, hell no. And look what's up here.
yeah, Fists of
Oh, come
Fists of
on.
Fury.
Leave them alone.
Drunken Master. No,
I'm so
don't
glad I
touch
got
them.
the 4K remasters of those and they can't fuck with them now. So, like,
Oh,
thank
God.
God.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. The Drunken Master, I
wait.
only got a 2K Blu-ray of, but still.
Yeah, I think that's the best they've got of it. The original film stock
All right,
probably
but
doesn't look
you
much better than
you
what you
ain't
could get
just-
on Blu-ray.
You ain't gonna
Which is-
successfully
don't give
duplicate
them
Rumble in the
excuses.
Bronx. There's only one Rumble in the Bronx.
And it ain't even in the Bronx.
No, it's in Toronto.
Mhm.
I mean, it's one thing to like, if the film is ripped or it's got, splotches on the screen or, take out imperfections, not imperfections of shooting, but, just to restore the film to how it appeared when it was originally released. That's different. But I mean, if you're going to remove, and physically change the movie and like come up with AI action or, that's a nightmare fuel. It's just
I have no idea what their plans are here, but I just don't want AI anywhere near anything classic. Like if you're doing whatever new for your new thing and you want to do something stupid, that's up to you. But stay the fuck away from my classic films. I'm so sick of AI being used on shit because all it does is create nightmare fuel at the end of the day, and it doesn't really help anything. It just makes everything crappy.
I have a perfect commentary on it that I'm sharing.
Take him to Detroit. No,
That is the worst place to go.
This is what should happen to these people.
Is this going to be like a George Lucas situation? How much are they going to change?
So. I don't know. They'll probably enhance it a little bit.
Yeah.
Like if there's any ropes and any other things, they'll try to erase that. They'll make it look like digital video like they do with a lot of other things. So that's generally what happens when you run any film through AI.
Yeah. And they'll probably up the frame rate and they'll do some other stuff to try and make them look more modern and high res, and it's gonna look like a mess.
This just reminds me of the other story that come out the other day from that asshole who's like, Star Wars looks too old-timey.
Oh my god.
Oh my! Ooh,
so does that mean Metropolis does too, or
yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But George is winning in a way than with some of those people, I guess. If because it's been so tough to see. I know you can get him on the interwebs, and I have still my VHS copies, or if you're lucky enough to have the laser disc. But it's most people or most normies are going to see the George Lucas bastardized version. So
yeah.
I can understand why someone would say that, unfortunately.
I have heard some people say silly shit like that before. Even Six is somebody who thinks they're perfect, and I understand that she will think anything that George does is perfect, and that's fine.
Wait, I tuned out when the Kung Fu talk started. What'd you say?
Yeah, you think that the special editions are perfect, you said.
They are perfect.
So, yeah, so you're not going to agree with us on this one, but yeah, I think that this guy who put this article out, it smells and reeks of George Lucas giving him a fat check to say the old one looks like shit.
I think Disney gave him a check, so they've got an excuse to come back and say we're going to remake the original.
That's the other thing that people are saying too. But here's the thing: is Kathleen Kennedy, and this is one thing that I will agree with, is like Kathleen Kennedy coming out and presenting this as a legitimate legal screening of the original version of Star Wars was almost kind of a fuck you to George Lucas in a way.
But wasn't the guy who said it, wasn't he like the chief editor or something of some
The Telegraph, I think it was.
Yeah. Who, like, you don't really believe that was planted.
Well, the thing is
why would they put it in the Telegraph?
Okay, well, here's my thing, Six, is I didn't really think anything of it. At first, I thought, okay, this is just some 20-year-old kid who doesn't understand film, and he's just writing a stupid article that got him.
He's like old.
I don't know who he is, and it doesn't matter. If he's old, then it even makes it worse because
I looked for his account on Twitter so I could give him the what for.
Yeah, and I couldn't find him either. I couldn't find the guy that I thought it was, so it doesn't matter. But it was for the Telegraph, but my problem was when it got picked up by all the major papers. It was bad enough when some people in our community were going after him. It was like, whatever, yeah, he's an idiot. Whatever. He doesn't deserve the time of day or shouldn't even be a fucking journalist at this point for media if this is the way you're going to talk. Because you clearly don't understand how film history works. And not only that,
like the editor in chief, he was like he's one of the top editors or writers or something for that rag.
Right. Well, look, I mean, they explained that you got to understand that this is a print from 1977, but
exactly.
My point is my understanding of this print is that this is one of the first run prints. It's 70 millimeters, so it's one of the best looking prints you're ever going to see. And it's been preserved in perfect, pristine condition. So I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Yeah, Tom, who owns that? I remember reading about
that. It's the BFI that's had it since it first came out.
Okay.
And it's only been played only a few times or whatever since its initial release because, yeah, they keep it in perfect like conditions and under specific. Like I bet you if those
taking
4K
care of it, then because
if the 4K 77 people could get their hands on that, they'd probably freak out because that's 70 millimeter. That looks that's really
negative
good quality.
is massive on that.
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah,
and the same thing with like they've been trying to get their hands on the Empire Strikes Back 70 millimeter version because that was the first prints they struck for that, and it actually has the truncated ending on it before George went in and expanded it a bit more. So yeah, and it's like, look, it's not like I have a problem with directors making changes to their movies or producers in this case when it comes to Empire and Jedi. My problem is that he does not allow the original version to legally be available in good quality. And he makes stupid excuses for it, and he wants to pretend that that's the only way it should be seen and all this stuff. And it's like, no, at least even Ridley Scott, as much of a dickhole as he is, fucking
yeah, like it was 7
he puts all
different
5
versions.
versions or 7 versions of Blade Runner at least. Yeah.
But
even the work print.
If it's his to determine what happens to it, who are you to say that he should do something else? How would you like it if somebody started telling you what to do with your stuff?
Here's the difference is once art is out there, it's put out there, it is kind of, you have a responsibility, even if you do decide to alter it, to retain the original. That's my feeling. So even as somebody who is an artist and does things, I retain all the original versions of anything I do. And yeah, you're not wrong. If I have the opportunity to change something, which George has done in minuscule ways where most people wouldn't notice, that's one thing. But to go on this mass scale of like, just kind of trying to erase people's memories and saying, I'm sorry you fell in love with a movie that was only half done in his opinion, that doesn't jive with me. Right? Like that to me is just as bad as when these artists and musicians who think that their late in life re-recordings of their songs are so much better than the original. It's like, no, I like all the fucking hums and crackles and all the other shit. That's what made it what it was. And you sounding like a, immature kid on that. I don't want the version where you sound like you're 80 years too old. Right? Like to me, it's the same kind of thing. Sure, you can do it. It's there. It exists. That's great. Just don't act like the original version doesn't. And you're not wrong. If he doesn't want to put it out there, that's fine. I get that. But he's also speaking for the work of other people at the same time. It's really kind of a complicated thing. And like I said, it would hold water, but you have other directors who are good friends with him that put both versions out, or all 5 or 6 versions in the case of Ridley Scott. So it's not like they're pretending that the other versions don't exist like he tries to. And then he was still the same guy who went up in front of Congress and said that films should be protected so they can't be altered. And then he turns around and does it himself. To me, that's the most hypocritical thing you could ever do. Because he's right. His initial thing where he was saying that these films need to be preserved in their original form so nobody else can fuck with them later on. He's 100% right. They should have some form where they're preserved in pristine condition, and then whatever anybody else does from there, fine. That's what art is all about. It gets taken, remixed, re-edited, remade. And
all I heard there was that Tom speaks jive.
I do speak a little jive, but it's from 1986.
And Tom was very disappointed by the Taylor Swift redoing her albums. He loves the original Taylor Swift.
He does love the originals, yes. Yeah. The purity of the art.
I thought it was stupid when Prince re-recorded a bunch of his shit.
Yes. Yeah.
No, I think you've got a point in that you can do what you want with it, but keep the original available too. Yeah.
I hate it when songs get changed from something I grew up on. When Megadeth did, not only remastering is fine, but when you remix it or change parts in the songs, oh, dude, I will not forget when I first heard the changes of Take No Prisoners on Rust in Peace. I flipped my shit.
Whitesnake. Here I go again. The original import version is the version.
I prefer the original British band lineup as opposed to the re-recorded ones later. Yeah.
There's a few good examples of it from really, really talented artists like David Bowie, for example. Has all sorts of different versions of his tracks. You look at the 1990s in particular. After Kurt Cobain did his cover of Man Who Sold the World, David Bowie completely changed that song to make it his again. And I like the new version of it better than the original, but I'm glad we have the original. I want to have both of them. I want
Well,
to
and
say
then like
both of
you
them.
have like the
right?
Beatles catalog that's been getting remastered by Giles
Yeah.
Martin, and at least in most of those, from what I can recall, unless somebody tell me if I'm wrong, in all those they have like the new remixes and the old mixes
Yep.
in the sets. So
Yeah.
like
They have
that to me
everything.
is
Yeah, sometimes there's 3 different mixes in there.
well, in some cases, yeah, because there's even like Let It Be that has like I think 3 or 4 different mixes if you count Naked, but yeah.
And they give you all the
Alice,
behind the scenes stuff, and they give you the work prints. Yep.
I just got to say good night, guys. I got to drop. I got to go. So
No
thanks,
problem. We're actually going to be
everybody.
getting out of here soon
Well,
anyway, so go ahead and plug your business.
Well, Saturday night, last bourbon boarding of the season, of the hockey season, me and Brahma, Saturday night. And next Monday on my channel, a tribute to Brian Wilson will be my show, Monday afternoon show. So that should be a great show to pay tribute to a great genius, a true genius, not one of the 4 geniuses, which everybody seems to think their favorite artists are geniuses. Brian Wilson was.
Tiny
one of
Tim
those.
is a genius.
Tiny Tim was actually, especially when he tiptoed through the tulips. Right, thanks. Anyway, thank you guys. Thanks everyone in the
Take
chat.
care, Brian.
See ya. Bye. Bye.
All right. Yes, and then we are going to get out of here. Lester Skeptic Tank Obsessions changed his name. Lester, how you been? Been a member for 21 months. Says Arrow's done good shit. Stay out of their lane. Shina. Exactly. Yeah, the Arrow. At least I got my Arrow Bruce Lee set and all my other ones that I have, so they're there.
Oh, those are good.
Yeah. But Price, you got a show later on tonight, do you not? A couple of them. Yeah, I do. I have my
Later tonight, we'll
Quantum
be
Leap
doing,
show.
Quantum Leap.
And R2 and I will be on the Night Owl. Tom calls it the Late Show, which really upsets me when he does that because it's called the Night Owl. And I'm anal retentive about that. But I don't say anything to him. So just forget I said that. Thanks, Price. That was great. He must have stepped away and I didn't see it. CC, what you got going on? You still working hard on your YouTube stuff? Re-uploading
No,
and uploading?
I finished all that crap a couple of days ago.
You're finally
Now
done with it
that's why
all?
It says like I am just full stop for a little while.
I knew you were taking a break. I guess I didn't know you were done, I guess, for now. But yeah, okay. That's cool.
Yeah. For a few days, and then I'll pick it back up again. Because now I've been stuck like fixing all this crap for a few months. I gotta get onto expansion. I gotta get into new stuff. So I'm trying to stop myself for a few days before I rile myself back up into a whole, heavy workload. And I go hard when I go, right?
You go hard, huh? We need to do some karaoke. Price and I did some karaoke the other night. I think Price was a little drunk, but it was fun.
I got some beer. I was thinking about doing it the other night, and then I just didn't. I was like,
you could have joined us. You didn't see us?
Oh shit, no, I missed it.
Yeah. What was it? Late? Was it Friday night or Saturday night?
Well, late might be the thing. See, I'm.
It's Friday night, I think.
I'm going to bed real early these days.
Old person.
Part of it.
So old.
All right, well, check out CC's channels just the same. Nick, are you going to be on TNT later?
Oh, come on, TNT later. It's gonna be good. Yeah, Klobby's Comic Shop tomorrow night. I actually got a video out earlier today. I talk about the Spider-Man the Animated Series news. Felt like definitely something I need to slide in and talk about. And of course, for those who somehow may have not gotten the news, but Toxic Tuesday is exclusively on Rumble now, so that's a Rumble exclusive. Other than that, yeah, come check out my channel if you haven't and watch the new video where I talk about the Spidey news. And I hope to see some of you guys tomorrow night, either talking comics over booze or in an hour and a half on Comics is TNT. Thanks for having me. It's a good show to be a part of with a huge panel. And Price of Reason still has huge balls. Thank you.
All right. Mark, Sunday night you do a show, and are you doing anything besides that?
Yes, and in a geekery, I'll be doing some late night Fortnite on Friday night after Nick's comic book show. And tonight, be playing a little bit of Sea of Thieves, pirating out there on the interweb. So check that out. But yeah, the main show Sunday Night Geekery, 10 p.m. Eastern. Check that out. And it was my birthday this week, so look at this cool Mego I got. So always showing toys and stuff. So
it tasks you.
It tasks me. That's a pretty cool Con Mego. Con, yeah. So this is.
I don't think I have Con. Do I? I know I have Kirk, and I think I have Spock. But I don't know if I got Con.
Yeah, so Mego, they're releasing, they're smart, right? Take my money, so they keep releasing.
Mego conned you into getting Con.
Yeah, they conned me, yep. So appreciate being here, and check out my channel. Oh, and those Jaws posters are for sale. I don't know if 6 months.
Yeah, I saw that.
And if you want to post that in the link.
Cost me fucking money.
Yeah, they're coming from England, but maybe we can combine shipping somehow. But
I don't
if
know.
You want to post
if I could even afford them, but yeah.
Yeah, they're like $50 each, but the posters are gorgeous. The Vice Press posters, they're just like the best posters in the world. Mondo quality, that type of poster. So
Mondo.
And my brother-in-law is doing the sound engineer for the 50th anniversary of Jaws this weekend at Martha's Vineyard. So
yeah,
he's
going
to be there.
I'm so jelly.
Yeah, so he's going to be sending me pictures. So whatever I can show, I'll be showing. But they're showing Jaws. Where they shot it on the vineyard on the beach there.
I'd be showing with an armload of shit and just trying to get everybody to sign everything. It's like,
right. I told them don't come back without some swag for me. So,
and I still haven't procured a Jaws head popcorn bucket yet. If anybody's seen any out there in the wild, let me know.
I see they disappear really quick. Like
yeah,
people go, they post on YouTube. I got the last one.
I checked my local area and nothing yet. So Jason Webster, or they sold already, sends in 5 and says it could be worse. Tom, we could be continued to be rebel mooned by Zack Snyder. Well, even Netflix had enough of their shit with him. So
that should tell you something. Even the Netflix, the king of the Netflix adaptation, says Zack Snyder, your shit stinks.
Thank you for that, Jason Webster. And then Professor R2, I know you'll be on later with Price. Anything else you want to plug?
Yeah, I don't know. I'll be joining Price as I usually do on Tuesday and Thursday evenings on his live channel, Price of Reason Live, for the Night Owl, 11:45 p.m. Eastern. Come on over, talk about the stuff of the day. And then typically on Sundays, I join the Mr. Brown Alliance Sunday afternoons just to talk about the news of the week.
Sweet. 6, when's your live stream?
Sunday night, Tom and the gang are doing a celebration of Jaws 50th anniversary, 9 p.m. Eastern-ish this Sunday. So I posted the link in the chat, so set a reminder for that. And then I'll be on the morning show possibly tomorrow.
Sweet. All right. And with that, yes, do check that out. We're going to be talking Jaws, the 50th anniversary. I believe Gary Ambrosia is going to be joining us to show off some of his neat Jaws stuff he's got. Yeah, he's even got a fin. So yeah, and he's got a barrel too. And it's going to be a barrel of laughs and fun. And we're going to talk about the first film, of course, and chit chat a little bit about the sequels. So hopefully some of these folks here on the panel will join us for that as well. So check that out. And it's kind of like a tier list, but we're just going to talk about the movies. It's going to kind of be that kind of a thing. So, all right. Oh, and then ActionCom sent, oh, that looks cool. What the hell, man?
That's my Jaws snow globe. You don't have that
Oh,
yet?
that's cool.
I don't have that.
Dun-dun, dun-dun,
You don't have to have
Sons of bitches always
everything.
cost me so much money.
Enabling,
Hey,
yep.
You sound like my exes.
Hope I'm cuter.
No, when she said, no, 6, when she said, you don't have to have everything. When it's Jaws, yes, I do. Anyway, 6 for Piphat, yes. Well, in some ActionCom, in some cases, you can just pretend that Piphat lived. He just swam too far and went down the way. Didn't die.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. But if you want to go with the, what am I coping about now? I don't even know who this person is. But they like Reservoir Dogs, and I like Reservoir Dogs. So that's cool. So yeah. I thought it was always because they kept the best stuff for me, Tom. They do! They always keep the best stuff away from me.
We try to
Jerks.
not let him even see it.
Right? Between you and Mikey, I don't know anymore.
Yeah. And don't, this is a few weeks away, but July 8th, late night, we're going to be doing a Superman review. So it'll be a late Midnight's Edge After Dark stream. So watch
It will
for
literally be after dark.
Yeah.
Brought to you by Soul Glow.
What the fuck?
Silky smooth. Shine through it all. I use Soul Glow. Soul Glow.
What the hell was that?
You must have never seen Coming to America.
Yeah, like when it came out. I haven't seen it since. It wasn't that good.
Everybody knows.
No, that's
Soul
not true. I've seen it a lot. You know, I was going to say, is Tom getting a Jerry curl?
I hope so. That'd be sweet. I'd look bad as hell in a Jerry curl.
Yeah.
PH. Fat.
No, I wish I'd sang that. I'd be rich.
What I remember most about that movie
I
is
think you're
when-
right, Davina. Sorry, go ahead, sis.
is when the girl comes up out. He's in the water. He's in like the giant bathtub, and she comes up out of the water and says something about washing the royal penis or
The
something.
royal
like that.
penis is now clean.
I remember being shocked by that.
Well, when it's that big, it takes a long time to clean, I guess.
Oh my god!
Wow.
That man doesn't think that the Soul Glow is working. I'll have to use more.
That's something that Mark would never say on his channel.
Mike
One
seems like
curl.
that he can be a little looser on other men's
Yeah.
streams.
Oh, who do we? Oh, Price had to leave. So all right, we're getting out of here, guys. Take care, guys. See you like next time. See you on the morning show if you join us there. Take care of yourselves and each other, and then sub to all these fine folks. Thanks, mods, for your help, and Six, of course, as always too. Thank you so much, guys. Take care.
Koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain, no fucks given. Koala, koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain, no fucks given. Koala, koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain, no fucks given.